So with this whole rare breed trigger thing, it would be really helpful if someone actually had the SOPs of FAT-D to determine how they handle evidence. But no one really had them until now. Let's go into them. Alright, what's up guys? My name is John Crump. I'm an investigative journalist with AmmoLand News, the best damn website on the planet. I investigate the ATF, FBI, and all the agencies and organizations that want to violate your God-given and constitutionally protected right to bear arms. I am also a gun rights advocate with Gun Owners of America, Washington, D.C.'s only no compromise gun lobby. Alright. This video might be a little bit rough. I'm in a hotel room and I'm not going to really edit it or do anything like that. I'm just going to cut it, throw it up there, and let the chips lie where they may. If we get to 300 likes, I will do a live streamathon next month on my other channel, John Crump Live. Actually, I am going to do a streamathon on September 11th to raise money for P80 Dan, a Polymer 80 employee whose son was diagnosed with cancer. So that's going to happen either way. But go ahead and give me a thumbs up anyway. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. All right, so we know the rare breed thing is going on. So let's go ahead and talk about how the ATF examines evidence. If you don't know, I did a video and a story on AmmoLand about how the ATF, specifically the FESs, Firearms Evidence Specialists, handle evidence. They're the ones who are responsible for checking them in and checking them out and everything else. It's all handled by FAT-D and FTB, which is the Firearms Technology Branch. They're the ones who actually look at the evidence. The guys that look at the evidence are known as FEOs, Firearms Examination Officers. They look at the evidence. So let's go ahead and break down their FEOs. So break down the SOPs of once the FEOs get the evidence from the FESs. All right, so we're just gonna walk through this. They get the evidence and they have to fill out paperwork. They have to make sure there's a checklist that the first 6 items, I'm not gonna really go into that, but it's more like checking in the firearms, making sure it's safe and cleared and all that other good stuff has to be done before they get it. Once they sign on that, they take possession of the firearms. So the chain of custody moves from the FESs to the FEOs. And now let's get into how these FEOs look at the firearms. The first thing they do is they examine everything, make sure that they know what caliber it is, make sure it's safe, make sure it's not loaded or anything like that. They look for broken parts or anything else. The thing they do is they look at the outside of the firearms and see if it's been modified in any way, looking for like a third hole drilled or anything else like that. Then they break down the firearms and they look for any missing parts or any modified parts. They make notes of all this. They take pictures of everything to make sure they have pictures of everything. So what they're looking for is to see if it's been modified to be a machine gun in any way possible. They take a dummy round and they try to seat it to make sure that it can seat a bullet. And then they fire a round with a primer to make sure it will fire. Now, if all that goes well, they notify everyone of everything that they have found to this point and all the modifications and stuff like that, worn parts or anything else like that. So now it's to the stage where they test the firearm. So they take the firearm to the range and they load it up with the correct ammunition and they try to fire it. If it doesn't fire, they take it apart, they clean it, lubricate it, and they try to fire it again. If it still doesn't fire, they look for parts that are missing or broken and they note those parts and see if they're commercially available. They will then notify the case agent that this part is missing, but it's commercially available. Then they go on to the second stage if it fires. They fire a single shot, bam, all right? Then they fire a second single shot, bam. All right, so now it works in single shot mode and semi-automatic because they can fire 2 shots in a row without reloading. Now, they look for modifications to see if it's been made into a machine gun. If they determine it has been, They load up at least 2 rounds. 2 rounds is minimum. Usually they only do the minimum because they're government employees. So they will load up 2 rounds, load it into the firearm, switch it to fully auto mode, or not fully semi-automatic mode, but fully auto mode, machine gun mode, whatever you want to call it. And they try to fire those 2 rounds. If both of those rounds fire, then they say they have a machine gun. So what they do then is they fill out their form saying, hey, this is a machine gun and we have evidence of the machine gun. Here are the pictures, here are the videos and everything else. They take one form and they mail it back via USPS to the case agent, the guy that's actually doing the research to prosecute the person. Then they take another form and put it in a envelope or a folder, the evidence folder, I guess not envelope, but evidence folder, and they put that with their files. So now they got those 2. They take the 3rd copy and they put it with the evidence, which they will ship back through a common carrier like USPS, UPS, FedEx. I already talked about in the past how this is kind of a breaking down of the chain of custody, but the ATF considers this A-okay because they're government employees and that's what they do. So after the agent gets it back, he gets a report back, and then they will seek an injunction, seek a cease and desist, or arrest a person. In the auto key card, for example, they arrested the guy named Justin. I can't remember what his last name is, but they arrested him all right away saying, hey, you have a machine gun. What happened with that is the auto key card went to Fat D, which cut out the picture and made it into a lightning link and fired it successfully. So all right. So with Rare Breed, that didn't happen. What they did is they sent it down to the Tampa field office where the investigating agent was located at. And what they did is got a cease and desist order. They served that cease and desist order to Rare Breed, which says, hey, you can't sell these anymore because they are machine guns. Right now, hold on, I got a call coming in. Let me just do it. Right now, that's where we are. Rare Breed has a cease and desist. No one else has a cease and desist. You're not a felon if you have one of these things, because there's a lot more steps the ATF has to go through to actually get this through. All right, well, that's it. I just wanted to make a quick little video here to explain how Fat D handles evidence. Once again, my name is John Crump. I have a Patreon. If you like what I do here, you can go to my Patreon and help support me. Yeah, I'll be back in town next week, so my videos will look a little bit better than this week, a little bit less rushed. But yeah, all right. Once again, my name is John Crump. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keeping the fight. I'm out. Peace. Later, guys.